Well, obviously, at this point in the season, it's not exactly the tight ends room you were hoping to have. Where are things at right now, and where do you see the group?
Yeah, obviously, I'm not gonna comment on player availability. That's for Coach Bray, but I'm really happy going to battle every week with the guys we got. Bryce is fighting, Gabe's fighting. Gabe stepped up into a big role, did a great job last week. Jackson's getting better and better. Really excited for the upside he has, and then the young guys are really coming along. So, you know, it's still a great group. You know what I mean? And I've been like really happy with them. So just kind of where we're at, like we're just grinding and refining and trying to improve and put our best foot forward each and every day and help this team any way we possibly can.
Jackson, you mentioned him. He gets onto the field. What does he bring to the group, and do you see him maybe taking on a bigger role?
Um, yeah, the one thing I love about Jackson is like he's tough and competitive and like he's he's got an edge and he plays with an edge and an attitude and I really like that. We've really been working on cleaning up some of his footwork stuff, specifically in the run game, and he's taken some really good strides in that regard. And so excited to see him continue to ascend as a player. And then in the pass game, like he's got really good hands, makes contested catches. And I think that speaks to his competitiveness too. Like, I'm gonna go get that ball that's in the air. So really excited about him. He's got, a really bright future here, and he just keeps working. So
He's got those tools that you're mentioning and came in with a lot of recruiting
yeah.
prowess out of high school. What's kind of kept him off the field to this point, and what's he still looking to
I
make?
think it's just new. Like he's in a new system with guys like, Bryce and Gabe are fifth year seniors, and so it's just kind of been where we've been at in the room. And then, cleaning up those things in the run game, which he's really taken to like the last couple of weeks. He's seen like a lot of improvement in that. Um, so I think like I'm excited to see more of him and keep putting him in more and, giving him opportunities. And so yeah, I mean, I think he's gonna, as long as he stays on the right track, like he's gonna continue to get more and more opportunities.
The running game as a whole hasn't been what the team wants.
Yeah.
How can the tight ends improve to help make that better?
We got to do our part. And that's the biggest thing. Like you've seen on a lot of things that's hurt us in the run game. It's been, I know Gundy's probably talked about it, like communication has been a huge thing, like just making sure everyone's on the same page. Like even if it's not necessarily how you draw it up, if everyone's on the same page, you can have a successful running play. But we've had too many people like taking turns, and we've been super guilty of that at times. Like just taking our turn and not quite getting it right, or just being off a little bit with our technique. And so I think you see when all 11 are doing their part, like the run game is good. And so like we just need to make sure we're doing our one or two or three or shoot 4/11ths of it and continuing to improve. We work the crap out of it every day. Obviously the run game is near and dear to my heart and our coach's heart and the players' heart. Like they're super bought into it. And we're just trying to continue to improve and again help in that area.
Last couple weeks, we've seen Tyler Moreno in that 86 jersey. You obviously have that O line background.
Yeah.
Does he kind of get into those meeting rooms with you guys because of that, or is he still just kind of that
Uh,
sixth offensive lineman?
he's still in the O-line meeting rooms. There's a couple things like I work specifically with him on because like he's never played off the ball, probably in his life. I know I hadn't when I was his age, but so there's like the little nuance things with the tight end, but for the most part, he's basically just playing tackle and the tackle's basically playing guard, when we get into those. And so a lot of the combinations, the calls, the footwork, the techniques, like that's one thing that's been great with Coach Cav is like our techniques that we teach are pretty much identical. And that was the same thing with, Coach Devan last year. And so it's been a really smooth transition being able to throw him in there just to get some added, depth and mass at that position.
We saw yesterday it was Cody's birthday.
Yeah.
Tight end room have any special tradition for birthdays? How do you guys celebrate?
We just kind of, make a little deal of it in the meeting and, we don't go too overboard. But, it was also Gabe's birthday the other day too. So it was kind of cool to have back-to-back birthdays and stuff like that. So just celebrating those guys and celebrating each other any way we can. We're fortunate to have a really tight-knit group and they all mesh really well together. So, little things like that go a long way.
Specifically looking at Wake Forest and their defense, what do you see, and what does the group got to do to be have success on
Yeah,
Saturday.
they're a talented group, and they'll get pretty multiple with their fronts, which I know is like you said, most defenses do that. But they do a couple little things that are like a little bit out of the ordinary for teams that play mixed 3 and 4 down fronts. And so, obviously figuring that out because the looks are a little bit different. That'll be big. And then they fly around, like they play extremely hard. Their safety fits the box pretty hard. And they're what you'd expect out of, a Coach Dickert type defense, like you saw it at Washington State over those years. Like they fly around and play hard and physical, and we're excited to meet that challenge head on and bring some physicality and do our part in response to how they play.
Does the fact that you're familiar with Dickert from his time at Wazoo, does that help a little bit?
Yeah, it gives you a little bit of a background, but like it's some of the stuff is a lot different than what they did. Some of the stuff's similar. So you kind of see some similar, you can just kind of compare and contrast. Um, but yeah, I mean, they do a great job on defense.
What are some of those differences that they, have along that front?
Just kind of how they play, how they mix in and out of fronts. And when they do play 3 down fronts, where that fourth guy is going to be. That's kind of been the main thing that's a little bit different, but it's football is football, and scheme is scheme, and a lot of defenses are doing similar things. So it's nothing too crazy.
What's the morale and the mindset within your group right now? And also, how do you kind of remind them that there's still a lot of football left to be played? There's still some positives that can be pulled from
Yeah.
this season.
That's a great question, and like I'm really fortunate to have guys that have been in college football and played college football for a long time, and then the young guys like Cody and DeAndre are both very mature, especially for true freshmen. So they've been through rough times before, and so like and these guys, especially the older guys, the leaders, like they're professionals and they come to work every day with the same mindset. And I tell them like, man, I get it. Like you guys put a lot into this. You do for the most part everything we ask. Like just know that the good will come, right? Stay the course, trust the process, believe in yourself, believe in each other, believe in this place and our culture, and we'll fight through this. And I try and remind them a lot, like one of the best things about football and athletics in general is it's a true microcosm for life. And so I tell them, like someday your kid might want to quit t-ball in the middle of the season, and you tell them, hey, look, we pushed through a rough opening season my senior year at Oregon State, and look how we finished, or look what I learned from it. And like these are real life lessons and really important things that these guys are going through right now that will hopefully they'll be able to draw from when they're going through adverse times later in life.
You brought up DeAndre. If my memory serves, he played pretty small school, high school football, right?
Yeah.
Is this his first kind of time playing tight end?
Yeah, he played a lot of like receiver on his high school film, but like he's he was still doing tight end jobs. So he was kind of more of a hybrid mold. But like one thing I love about Tiandre is like he has really picked up the blocking. And so, because obviously that's always a question mark when you're through it, you don't really put your hand in the dirt a ton. Like he did in high school for sure. But they'd also split him out wide and throw him go balls, and it's like no one can catch up to him. So he's done a really good job taking that on, and he is tough and physical and relentless. And like there's a clip that always sticks out to me from fall camp where we threw like a go ball on the other side of the field, and he sprinted from the far side all the way and like went and got a block and helped spring the guy for a touchdown. And that's just the kind of player and competitor he is. And so really excited for that his future, and uh, yeah.
Kind of on that same note, there aren't a lot of dudes who played 8-man football like Cody did and or show up and are
Yeah.
already as big and physical as he is right now. What's it been like kind of bringing him along in his first year of like 11-man football?
It's been really fun. Like he's a really smart kid. So like, and obviously he's watched football his entire life. Dad played at Oregon, and so he knows the game. Like just because he didn't necessarily play 11 man, like he still knows the game of football really well, and he's come a long way. Like it's hard when you go from playing 8-man football and like being bigger than everyone by a mile to now you're playing some guys who are your size and bigger. But he's really taken to the footwork and the techniques and like gotten a ton better. He does a lot of really good things on the scout team, and so I'm really excited for Cody's future here.